The original OG with Dr. Cheryl Dossett is made possible through generous philanthropic contributions from viewers like you. Thank you for your support.
Greetings, my name is Cheryl Dawson and this is My Truth. I come to you today to share my vision for creating a new initiative which embraces the unique talents, strengths, and abilities of a segment of the population which is often overlooked. What I'm referring to are members of the African American or Black community in China. China is a vast land that presents vast opportunities for big thinkers. And as an African American female and a big thinker, I embrace the unknown. I look at China as an opportunity to leverage my talents and abilities because there's enough here in terms of resources to help you create a new life for yourself. Overseas Game Changers, this is Dr. Dossett. I just want to start off by saying that the beginning of this journey has been incredible. And one of the reasons why I love doing this show and hosting this talk show, because I get to know individuals firsthand, understanding their pain, understanding their passion and their purpose. The young woman that I have today, I must be honest, I don't think that I am even worthy to be on the platform with her because of the depth, let me just be honest, the depth of the impact that she is having in a country like China. She's based in Beijing, Miyata Momo. She will correct me if I'm wrong. The sense of energy and not only the radiance that this young woman exudes when you're looking at her on the screen, but she has grace, style, intelligence that is unimaginable and unmarked. This woman truly represents what I call the epitome of an original OG. I know it sounds like nomenclature and metaphorical, but I've got to be honest with you, viewers. When if I had to have a face for the OG's movement, aside from my face, I would use her face if she would allow me. Because the Overseas Game Changers is an initiative which brings awareness about excellence, diversity, and inclusion on foreign soil. I don't want to speak too much because this is her time to talk about who she is and what inspires. I know this is a woman of faith because you have to know God in order to live in China and to survive the amount of time that she has survived and existed, but not only existed, but thrived in a country that was once not inviting. But this woman has been able to get parity among her compatriots and the local indigenous community, to the point that there is a story that says, "When I rise." Without further ado, I would like to present Miyata Momo as she is rising. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doctor. It's wonderful to be here. And what an introduction. Thank you.
It's heartfelt. You can't hide. So I want to go right into a little bit about the basic questions first, and then we're going to go a little bit deep. I like to go beneath the covers. Tell us a little bit about where you're from, the origin of your name is most importantly, and when did you first discover that you had a calling? Because I look at this on your life to travel overseas, okay?
Okay, so my name is Miyata Momo. My name Miyata means First Lady. It's a Sierra Leonean name from the Mende tribe. My father is from Mende, my mother is Limba, and I'm Sierra Leonean. I have the British accent because I was born in London, but I am Sierra Leonean. And what put Beijing on the map for me, what put China on the map for me, it was actually when I was working and my job got made redundant. So this came at a very big crossroads in my life when I was like, okay, what is next? What should I do? And at the time, I just had peace that only God can give. There was a lot of prayer, and then there was an opportunity to come here for a holiday. During that holiday, my mother was also here, and she said, you know, consider doing an MBA. And at the time I said, no, I'm not academic at all. I was someone that was always, I was working in media, like marketing, project management for an IT publisher. And I was always very much like, I'll just go back and work, do this job, network on the job. But I said, you know what, I have nothing to lose. Let me just, you know, continue to pray, apply for this MBA, see what happens. And the rest really is history. I came here for 2 years, did my MBA in Beijing, Peking University. And that was really the start of this unbelievable journey here, where I can tell you more about what happened along the way.
Now, for those of you who are not aware, Peking University is one of the top universities in China. And as you said, as her name means First Lady, but she truly has developed into becoming, I would like to say, the First Lady of Beijing. That she's not aware of it, but I like to consider her the First Lady of Beijing. Now, during your time during your studies, were you involved in any extracurricular activity that started to guide and inform your current path?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I came here as a mature student. So for me, it was hard to adjust to, you know, after working for so long and then, you know, going back into a classroom and having to do like a financial accounting course. I was like, what is going on here? But so I knew that I was here to do my MBA, but I didn't want to spend all my time in the library and studying. I wanted to explore the people of Beijing. I wanted to get to know my fellow classmates who were very diverse and interesting. So for me, my joy was connecting with those people in my immediate circle, but also realizing that in Beijing, this capital of innovation, culture, politics, there were just so many people to meet in various different events. One community that really I fell in love with was Peking University's African Student Association. And that is really where my discovery and rediscovery of the continent started to go crazy. So that was one community I really plugged into. They did various different events, forums, dinners, and I just really started to get a taste of just being in a room with people from every corner of the continent with various different stories. Not everyone were like students. Some had entrepreneurial experience. Some people were working in the governments. So for me, it was the first time anywhere in the world where you can all be in one room together. And that just excited me so much.
Yes. Again, for those of you who don't understand, Beijing is an extremely diverse city. It is atypical in comparison to like we call tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 cities. Beijing is a tier 1 city. Beijing, in fact, if you used Beijing as a benchmark for China, you might be over misrepresentation because it is not the benchmark. Beijing is a unique location. In fact, my book title, Bed-Stuy to Beijing, Unapologetically Black in China. I've never lived in Beijing, but it just rhymed with Bed-Stuy to Beijing. But it was my first landing. And I can say that the student population in China, the African student population, is very active. And that's what drew me when I was in Guangzhou. Talk to us a little bit about some of the roles that you had, because you moved into, before we get into your project, you've moved into a diplomacy role without you forcing it. It's been kind of organic. Talk to me about when you started to notice that you're being pulled to a level of diplomacy, because your face and name is known all over China.
Okay, so for me, I've always had this, and I know it's God-given, I have this love for people. So even when I would go to not just student association events, but even we have the Beijing Women's Network, we have Startup Grind, which is like more tech focused. I would find myself at these different events and be the annoying person that would just, come up to you, start talking. Whenever there was a speaker at an event, I would genuinely just be interested to know more beyond the presentation, more beyond, the facade or what they wanted to project. I was really interested in finding out more about their personal story. So I feel like that hunger and that desire is definitely something that has helped me just not feel any way about coming to speak to anyone. And what started to happen was, because I was so, involved in certain events, for example, the Peking University African Student Association, I would, I never actually had a formal role in their elective members, but I was someone that was always at their events, always promoting their events. So people started to recognize me as a promoter. And not just that, I would meet people, and hearing all these different stories, I would collect them. They would always almost be like treasures that I would find. So then when I would meet someone else that was doing something similar, or thinking that someone could support that project that someone else was working on, I would want to connect them. So I started to be known as a connector. I would be known as someone that you can go to because of the type of people that I had met at various different events, and really sincerely, sincerely want to really get to know people. So I think people saw that in me, and it just helped. I guess as time went on, that it was easy for me to connect people, and from connecting other people, I started to build, I guess, small bridges and a bigger community around the stuff that I was interested at the time.
Now, you said a couple of things, but one thing I would like to point out is that it is a gift to be fearfully and wonderfully made, where you can go and speak to anyone and not have any reluctance or pushback for being who you are, being a person who is very charismatic. You have you exude leadership, you exude confidence. How did you start to find your niche or interest area? I heard you mention women, and talk about, when did you begin to see this emergence that, this may be where my skill set and gifts can be best suited?
So, while I was actually applying for my MBA, they asked very, deep questions. Why China? I mean, even when you're here, a lot of the times you're constantly asked, why China? And I think because I came here at a crossroads where I had lost a job, where the type of trajectory that I thought I was going to go down had completely changed, it gave me a lot of time to really, pray about and think about what is next. And one of the things I'd always wanted to do was build some sort of business. And at the time, I was really interested in, because of my background in media and online advertising, I wanted to do something actually originally between Sierra Leone and China when I finally graduated with my MBA. However, when I came to Beijing, I realized that there was, for me, the biggest influence in my life is my mother. So in terms of women leadership, she is someone that I've looked up to a lot. And what I found once I was in Beijing and this amazing ecosystem, that there was a lot of opportunities to connect, and to not just connect, but to work and collaborate with women. So I think that's where it started. And originally I thought this business idea that I had would have to be built by myself. But I realized there were so many incredible like-minded women here as well. It was just an opportunity to come together, share ideas, and build things together. So I think that's where I kind of found myself in women's events and things like that. So that's a mix of influence from my mother, influence from sort of the business area that I wanted to go to, and also the fact that Beijing was thriving and had many platforms that allowed women to just, connect and collaborate. We have the Black Women Beijing group, we have Beijing Women's Network, and later came Ladies Who Tech, because they originally were not in Beijing. But you had these everything was accessible here. It was a lot easier to find people that had similar ideas or even different ideas and just be able to bounce. And I feel like in Beijing, for me, people are willing to come around you and support things. So that's also encouraging, where you're not feeling too reluctant to share, and be vulnerable and be like, I have this idea for A, B, and C. What do you think? I feel like because of the dynamics, you have like a more comfortable space for collaboration. So I think all these things have definitely pushed me in these areas of like interest in women, and also tech specifically tech as well. I believe that social tech innovation is really important and something that I've been excited about, even just seeing the e-commerce market here and how it's completely transformed many industries. It's something that was always appealed to me as well. So that's another reason why I was also interested in tech, and seeing the tech development in places like Nigeria, Kenya, even South Africa has always helped me think, well, how can I marry these sort of two worlds from being here as well?
So tell us now about I want to call it the brainchild of your project, that most people, how I knew you for this initiative, Kente and Silk, correct?
Correct. Perfect.
When I first came across the brand, I was in Beijing, and I saw this plastered everywhere, this opportunity marketing. And I was like, what is this? But all I knew was that the reaction, I would get chills. When I heard and read the brand, I didn't know what it was about, but I got chills because I felt it was so cutting edge, merging the disparities and changing the narrative as it relates to Africa-China relations. This is why I'm going to say this today. Those who are listening, I can almost guarantee with complete certainty that Miss First Lady Miata Momo, we will soon begin to have to address her as ambassador, because she is on the cutting edge of something huge. God is using this woman in such a big way, and she's leading such great impact. But please talk a little bit about this project, okay, before we run out of time.
Yes, okay. So Kente and Silk. First of all, Kente and Silk existed before me. Thank God for Zara Baiti, Zara Baiti. She's actually married now, and I'm trying to remember her new surname. Forgive me. But Zara, she was the CEO of Kente and Silk. So it existed before me, registered in Ghana, a social enterprise originally focusing on trying to bring value-added products from the continent into China, as well as increasing more cultural exchange. And again, through people knowing that I was very active within the Africa-China space, we were connected by a mutual friend. We eventually met, and then she asked me if I'd be willing to support and volunteer for an initiative that she had, which was Beijing Africa Week. And this was incredible. This was in response to some of the negative images that had been out there of the Black community. For example, blackface on CGTN, what's it called, Wolf Warrior, where you just had these real negative stereotypes of what Africans are. And rather than complain, her heart was, let's create more African agency. Let's build a platform where we can have not just the usual sort of forum dialogue discussion, but let's also have an Afrobeat dance class. Let's have some food. Let's have art. Let's create our own space where we invite people in to see nuance and beautiful personal stories about the enriching and beauty that we know is part of Ghana, is part of Sierra Leone, is part of Nigeria, Kenya, all these different places. So Kente and Silk was already in existence before me. Then I volunteered, and then later had a stake in the company. And the actual name tries to embody exactly what we do. So Kente is a cloth worn by the Ashanti tribe in Ghana. So that represents the richness, the beauty of Africa. And then you have silk, which is also a fabric very famous in China, and then it also represents the Silk Road. So these two worlds combined, and what we want to do is not just bring about good business, but we also want to bring about good cultural exchange and promote more of the positive narratives that are not really out there. So that's a bit about Kente Silk.
I'm breathless because we are learning how to regard and revere the contributions of Africa. When did your vision, or this vision that you've inherited, that has morphed into your kind of baby, when did you start to see that it became bigger and it started to include people from the West, America, Canada, and then also, as it's bridging, you're from the UK. When did you start seeing that others were starting to band around you, which is a huge, huge opportunity here to bridge not only Asia and Africa, but to bridge all world cultures.
So, yeah, I mean, I will always say that this vision was and is Zara Baiti Botang. Botang is her new surname. And I think for me, it's really important because it actually resonates with the whole beauty of being Beijing at the right time by God's grace, where someone has this vision, and rather than keep it to themselves, saying, no, I'm going to do this by myself, she was willing to share it with me and many others. So even though a lot of the time I'm the face because people see me and know me, I can guarantee that the vision and what we're building is still very much a collaboration and a team effort. And I think, like with any vision, if it is attractive, and what we always say is Kente and Silk is bigger than us. And that's why I think we see so many people drawn into what we do. And our focus is always Africa, China. I mean, I've had many people come to me from India and all these different places. And I felt like our mission always has to be changing the status quo of Africa-China relations. But as a default, not even a default, but as an output, because this relationship is so important, of course, you're going to see people from Singapore, people from India, people from America, also interested. And I think for us, it's always been about delivering quality, delivering really good. I mean, we've said no to so many things because we will not jeopardize quality, and realizing whether we like it or not, as Africans here in China, you are always going to be representing everyone. So for us, it's really important to do things with integrity, dignity, quality. And I think that's why we have been able to attract so many other hubs, other groups. And, we take pride in our events, the events that we do. No one else does events like we do because, I think everyone brings something different. And that's the beauty of building something here. But yeah, I think what has attracted so many people is just the fact that it is something different. It's a new approach to, this very big geopolitical, area. And we try to, get beyond the politics and actually go to the people-to-people element, where you can find out about a Nigerian filmmaker and artist, or you can come to a dance class with one of the best. We had Yofi Green, that was also very famous in Guangzhou, still is. And we just bring in just a new narrative that people can just not resist. And I'm so grateful, thank God, for the opportunity to be able to do that and to meet so many talented people that contribute to that as well.
And which is wonderful. Now, one of the things you may not remember, and I may put you on the spot, but you had talked about during one of the Africa weeks, you didn't get a chance to have an art gallery or viewing. And I would love, I don't know how we can talk about it, but I would love to be able to feature some of your artists on this show. But it is incumbent upon me to be able to help expand the platform across the Atlantic, because what you're doing is so important. And also, I know Yofi Green. I met him when he was first starting out. In fact, I encouraged him to participate in the dance contest. And so
Mm.
so we're all connected that way. I taught at the university where he was a student.
Wow.
I would see him and I would encourage him. In fact, he taught my class. He had me up there doing some of these Afro beats.
Wow.
When I dropped it like it's hot, I couldn't get back up, but I tried. He has it on video. But needless to say, I would love to see how we can feature some of the art, because the filmmakers, the other artists that come out of this particular time in diaspora is incredible. I feel like I'm definitely was born at a different time because of the way that I'm really so intrigued. But this has been such an invigorating conversation, discussion. It must merit another opportunity to share and dive deeper into the stories, know more about the person behind the brand. Would love to be able to have an opportunity to meet the person, the founder as well, and bring her on and have a discussion. I thank God for calling you into this work.
Thank God. Thank you.
Thank you so much. With that being said, this is Dr. Dossett, the original OG, overseas game changer. I make no mistake about who I am. I love China and I love Black people together, working together in the vineyard. No longer are we in the desert. We have come to the promised land, and we are taking advantage of this opportunity, making change and impact one person at a time and one country at a time. Thank you so much. This is Dr. Dossett. Peace and blessings. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.
The original OG with Dr. Cheryl Dossett is made possible through generous philanthropic contributions from viewers like you. Thank you for your support.